comment that was made yesterday. Oh, nice ringtone. I feel like people kind of took that out of context, and I've been hearing that I prefer JB over JT, and that's not what that was. I like to praise my teammates. I like to praise my teammates when they're playing well, and I feel like that's what I did my best to do. When I got here, JT was the first person to text me. I already know that, and both of them know how I feel about them and how I feel about them as players. But to compare them is something that I would never do because they're two completely different players, as well as being on the same team and the things that they've done in this organization and the things that they've done against me as an opponent. I feel like how they play together and how they work together is something that is sacred and something that can't be broken. So just to address the comment yesterday, I do not prefer one or the other. I prefer both. Both of them are superstars, and it's being shown out here on the biggest stage in the world. Questions, please.
First question in the back right.
Champ de Lunas, ABS-CBN News. Drew, how were you able to shred Dallas's defense, effectively cutting to the basket majority of the game? And how do you feel when Kyrie gives up the ball when you guard him?
Again, I don't think I'm shredding the defense. I think it's more so JT and JB. Especially tonight, JT was getting into the paint and being double teamed and making the right plays out of it and just finding me. Just either being at the dunker or being in the corner. He has that vision as a playmaker, so I would give that to them.
Back left, standing.
Drew, Kari Thompson, Boston Globe. The buzzer beater that Peyton hit, if he doesn't hit that, you guys are up 6 going into the fourth. Just as someone with your defensive chops, what does that do to a defense when someone hits a shot like that at the end of a quarter? Well,
first I fouled Kyrie and put him on the free throw line, and I got my third foul, so Peyton came in for me. So that's no, I didn't want to foul him, but I'm kind of glad that I did. And the energy that Peyton brings, him just having the balls to take that shot, and he's done it so many times this year where he's had the courage to take it and he's knocked it in has been huge for us. So it was definitely a confidence boost and really just boosted us for the rest of that game.
Shane, on your right.
Hey, Drew. Shane Young with Forbes. I'm just curious, what, in your opinion, drives the closeness and togetherness of this group? Is part of it the fact that everyone's had to sacrifice a little bit of something?
I think when you sacrifice together and you do something together, it brings you closer. I think being able to go through wins and losses and to build something, it means a lot. So when you go through things like that, I think it makes you closer, and I think that's what this team has done. From 1 to 15, somebody sacrificed something. So it's been great, and the journey's been awesome. But at the end of the day, the job's not done.
Jake, over here on the left.
Drew, you were praising JT's ability to draw to and make the right read. When you're in the dunker, going on the baseline, for him specifically compared to other ball handlers on your team, what are you reading about his handle and what he's doing to try to put yourself in the right position?
I think just trying to get into space and trying to be in his vision. I know that sometimes when I drive and I might get stuck, I need somebody to drift with me or to kind of be in space and be in my vision. So I think for the most part, I just try to stay in front of him, give him a good outlet, and he's been making great reads.
On your right, fifth row in the aisle.
Jeff Zilgett, USA Today. Drew, I know lots of things probably factor into why a player is comfortable with a certain team, but I wanted to know maybe what influence Brad Stevens has had on you and with you and how you feel about playing in Boston and for the Celtics.
Yeah, when I first got traded here, he was obviously one of the first people that I talked to, and I just think his positive nature. He has this, he's kind of this kind soul, somebody who has great energy about him. So every time that I talk to him and every time I see him, he's always been encouraging, and this has been from the beginning. So it's always nice to have somebody like that have your back, and again, somebody like that in your corner in your organization.
Dave on the left, on third row.
Drew, if Jaylen and Jayson are the superstars on this team, what's your role? And if you're going to be the team's leading scorer, leading rebounder, and shoot the highest percentage in Game 2 of the Finals, why aren't you a superstar as well?
I'm a utility guy. I'll do whatever. I'm here to win. I feel like they brought me here to win. and I'll do my best to do that. But at the end of the day, this is their team, and I know it's probably just as much as my team as theirs. But again, I feel like I've talked about this before. The pressure that they have on themselves to execute and to be great is a little bit different than my pressure. And again, I've always been honest about that, and how they always handle themselves has been something that's been so honorable. So it's slightly different. They're superstars, and I'm here to support.
Rachel?
Hey, Drew. 2 games into another NBA Finals. You were up 2-0 in that one also, but just very different teams. So I'm curious how this Finals experience so far has been different from your first one.
Yeah. Well, that one we're actually down 2-0. That was slightly different. But I
All
think
I remember is the win.
Yeah, and that's all I remember too. Is so I think it's a little different that again, a different team, different setting, different year. Definitely having a COVID year, it was a bit weird, but I think being on this team, the journey to this point has been great. But we still know being up 2-0 means nothing. Job's not done, and we have to do whatever it takes.
Has it felt a lot different from you, though, being here a second time?
Yeah, I would say maybe I'm a bit more comfortable, just knowing kind of the pressure and the atmosphere and obviously what's on the line. This is a bit different.
Second row in the center.
Drew, during one of those extended timeouts in the second quarter, it looked like you guys had a pretty tight huddle and a long huddle. What conversations do you remember from that huddle in particular, or what kind of conversations are players having with each other when the game is kind of going back and forth?
Yeah, in huddles like that, it's intimate, and it's something that we kind of hold close and dear to ourselves. So I think in times like that, encouraging each other, being able to police ourselves in times like that when we might be doing something that is uncharacteristic, or even if we're doing something great, all those things are brought up in those moments to where we can really just go out there and do our best to win the game.
Chris over here on the left.
Drew, you mentioned you're kind of brought here to win, and the guys have all seemingly kind of looked to you as the guy with experience, the guy that knows what it takes. How have you embraced that role, and how has that role kind of manifested during the finals here as well? Man,
I love my teammates. They've been here before. And they know what it takes and to get to this point. And they've shown it. You've seen them in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you've seen them in the finals before. And we're all determined as a team. We all want this, and it's something that it's collective. So I won't say that I do much or I talk much. I feel like I'm more of an action type of guy. And I go out there and I play hard as I can and do whatever the team needs for us to win.
Last question on your right, second row.
Drew, Derek was in here and he said he was very grateful that you came in and sort of adapted the way you did, because he said you could have come in here and said, "I'm Drew Holiday," and he would have just sort of accepted that you were the all-star that was coming in. Was there a moment in the season where you felt that you guys as a team really clicked in terms of that chemistry, or was it just sort of natural from the start?
I think it was natural. I think that they had chemistry and some things I had to figure out. But that just goes to show how great of teammates I have. There's been times where I've struggled kind of figuring out my place or what I wanted or what I need to do to help the team win. And Derek's been the person who has talked me through it. I've been point guards on other teams, and I've been shooting guards on other teams. But Derek is our point guard, and he's shown that the whole season. But I would say that there are different times in the season where each guy has kind of come and talked to me about how they felt and how they saw the game and what I could do to help and all that. And that's helped me out tremendously getting to this point.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take questions. First question right here up front, Nick.
Turnovers. Hey there, Jaylen. Nick Galley, Field Level Media. I asked you yesterday about Thursday's crowd. You challenged them again for tonight. Just want to get your thoughts on how they did.
I thought it was great. In moments where we gained some momentum, that helped us get over the hump. So tonight we came out, we didn't shoot the ball well. We was a little flat, but I feel like the crowd helped us stay in the game.
On your right, second row.
Jaylen, you see Drew have a performance like this where he gets his buckets basically just playing off of you guys. He came in here and said the chemistry between the team and him was pretty natural from the start, and he credited you and the rest of his teammates for that. How have you seen Drew grow into what is a new role for him this season, and then be able to have a game like this in the finals?
Drew has been an example of just excellence. Since he's been here, his role has been different from what it was the last few years on Milwaukee. And he's been able to adapt. Not a lot of players, not a lot of guys can do that, be versatile, play different roles and different styles and still have an effect on the game. And Drew, he just came in. He wasn't on the ball as much, still guarded at a high level, but became the corner three-point specialist. And, that's just a testament to his greatness. And tonight, they wanted to emphasize loading up, making us make the right reads over and over again. And Drew had a lot of opportunities tonight, and he took advantage. And he's just a hell of a player, hell of a person, great teammate. And, I credit the victory to him tonight. He played well.
Jared, back left.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. Yesterday, Jason Kidd had the comments about you being the best player on the team. Seemed like everybody was kind of like, we're not taking the bait on you trying to split us up and drive a wedge. And then today, you and Jason combined for almost more assists than their entire team had. So how do you guys block out the outside noise? We talked about this so many times, but it seems like you're showing on the court that you're committed to that. And how has playmaking kind of become a tool for you to really show your greatness?
Yeah, we got a lot of weapons on our team, so we just got to trust what we've been doing all season long, trust our game plan. And we didn't hit shots tonight. I thought we had a bunch of great looks. If you go back and look in the first half, Sam had a bunch of great looks. D-White had some looks that didn't go down, but we didn't panic. We kept guarding. We stayed in the game, and we kept trusting it. And we made enough tonight to win the game. But, we expect to shoot the ball better going forward when we get on the road.
Gary in the center.
Jaylen, Gary Wash from Boston Globe. Can you take us through the chase down block of P.J. Washington? You and Derek both converged, and I think both got part of the ball. What happened there? What were you looking at? And can you kind of touch on Derek's impact and the blocks he makes and the defense and just the things he does?
Yeah, Derek has been, all defensive all season long. In that moment right there, we make a tough rim read. Rim reads lead to transition. So we want to manage that a little bit better. But, it's the playoffs. You got to just get back and make a play. And Derek White sprints back. I see they have an advantage. I sprint back and was able to make a play there. But, those are the type of plays that help you win games. And, it's just effort. That's what it comes down to.
Dave over here, third row in the aisle.
Jaylen, before Drew said anything to us post-game tonight, he wanted to address us and basically say that a comment that he made the other day he felt like was taken out of context, and he would never rank his teammates, and he supports both you and Jayson Tatum as superstars. How has kind of his perspective, his wisdom, or his voice been something that's been welcome to this year's group as you've succeeded to this point?
Drew is a great teammate. Nothing short of that. He's brought championship pedigree to our team, so nothing Drew says we question. Drew, he comes in and he just is who he is. He's got that demeanor, that killer-like mentality, and we respect it. You know what I mean? He's a great teammate, and it's just an honor to play next to him.
Abby on the far right.
Jaylen, you guys have held the Mavs under 100 in both of these games, and then particularly in the second half tonight, what you did against Luka. Defensively, how are you doing this?
Just like effort plays. I think tonight we wasn't as crisp defensively. It was a lot of miscommunications out there, a lot of stuff that, we gave up that we didn't give up in the first game. So I think we got to be better in that regard. But I just think our effort has been the key. Just the mentality, picking a guy up full court and stuff like that just wears on him over time. But I think we need to be more crisp going into the next two games.
Fourth row on the aisle over here on your left.
Jaylen, on a night when shots aren't falling, how big was the buzzer beater that Peyton hit?
Man, that was incredible. And I heard he like checked himself in the game too. Like he's been hitting those shots all season long. If anybody's been paying attention to it, he's made I don't know how many of those, at least 3 or 4. So tonight he made it in the biggest of moments. But it's just an example of what we do and have been doing all season long. And how you finish quarters is big. And we didn't finish that quarter great. We got a lot of open looks. We gave up some bad fouls. One of them was mine. I fouled Luka on the back cut. And then me and JT got mixed communication on the switch. Luka had a 3. We got to finish quarters better. But Peyton checks himself in the game and covers us a little bit by hitting the big time shot.
On your right, second row, Shane.
Shane Young, Forward Sports. You kind of touched on it, but what does it say about your composure as a team, the fact that you've repeatedly answered run after run when things get tight in the series?
That's the key. That's majority of what the battle is just managing your emotions. How do you handle adversity? And your will and your perseverance. Everything isn't going to go according to plan. I wouldn't have hoped that we shot, 7 for 23 from 3. And we had a few ill-advised turnovers and fouls, but, effort makes up the difference. And, your mindset. I think we play harder than them tonight, and I think that's just going to be the key. If we want to win, we got to just be the harder playing team.
Chris here on the left on the second row.
Hey, John. Chris Ryan with iHeart. When you have kind of had focus in regard to Luka and Kyrie in this series, what's been the good mindset in regard to making them work on both ends, and how key has your depth been in regard to giving them multiple looks? Luka had to worry tonight about getting his pocket picked a couple times. What's the focus been on that side?
That's the key. Just trying to wear on those guys, be as physical as we possibly can, full team effort. Just keep touching them. That's it. I think that those guys are tremendously gifted offensively, and they came out swinging. Luka came out in the first quarter. We knew what he was going to do. We knew he was going to be aggressive, but we just stayed with the game plan. We stayed just consistent, and we was able to turn him over a few times. That helped us push the lead out.
CLNS Media. Jaylen, you mentioned the defense that they're showing you and Jayson, the extra bodies, some of the crowds you're seeing in the paint. How much more equipped do you and Jayson feel to kind of handle that and make the right passes? Maybe not shoot as well as you want to, but have like 12 assists or as many potential assists as you have in a game like this.
Yeah, and that's just being patient. And you got a lot of energy, excitedness, nerves when the game starts, but sometimes you just got to be patient. And I got to the paint pretty much whenever I wanted. And, I could be patient when I get there. I had a few turnovers where I had a little bit more time to wait for the defender to make a choice, because those 2-on-1 reads are there where, you get to the paint, the big is coming. You either kick it to the corner, or if he drops down to the corner, you kick it to the wing. But, don't got to be in a rush. Just protect the ball, make the great decisions, and trust your teammates. And I think that's what majority of this is. And we did that enough tonight, but I think we need to do it a little more going into Dallas.
Thank you, Jaylen.
Thank you.
We'll have Jayson.
Does Jayson look to kind of handle some of the shooting struggles he's having to start the series than 2 years ago, against Golden State here with the passing and everything else he's doing? And how important was it having Drew in that dunker spot for him to have a little bit of an outlet there in that first half?
Yeah, before that, I think the play of the game can't go unnoticed. The humility of our team is Peyton's shot at the end of the quarter, and you see guys around the league pass up on that shot or fake like they want to take it, and so that their numbers don't get messed up. And he takes pride in taking that, and that's winning basketball. So that's the first and foremost. That should have been the first question: is the ability of our everybody on our team to do different things that lead to winning. So I'm really tired of hearing about one guy or this guy or that guy, and everybody trying to make it out to be anything other than Celtic basketball. And everybody that stepped on that court tonight made winning plays on both ends of the floor. That's the most important thing. And then to answer your question, Jayson makes greatness look easy. He does it in a lot of different ways. He does it on defense. He does it on rebounding. Does it on passing. Does it on screening. He's a tremendous player. It's hard to coach him, and he has the ability to affect the game in different ways. We're a different team, but it takes everybody to do it. That should answer everyone's question.
Jake over here on the left side.
Joe, that being said, was there an emphasis for Jayson to play more of a distributor role tonight? It seemed like that was kind of his personal agenda out there.
The emphasis and where he's grown over the last 2 years is to take what the defense has given him and learn to impact the game in many different ways. And because of the type of team that we've had, especially this year, he's seen a bunch of different coverages and he's seen different matchups because teams have to match up with our team. And so coming into a game, it's kind of similar to a puzzle, and he's done a great job learning how to solve the puzzle and do different things. Tonight, with the way that they were rotating and the way that they were defending, the most important thing was making the right play at the rim, and we were able to stay out of transition because our guys made that. And so I thought he did a tremendous job doing what the game called for.
Dave over here on the left.
Joe, you guys trailed at the end of the first quarter. Luka had 13. Drew ends up outscoring Luka in quarters 2 through 4. What allowed you guys to get him going on offense? And obviously, as you mentioned, a lot of you guys can do a lot of different things for you. But when a guy like Luka has it going like that, how much of a boost is it to get an extra scoring boost from a guy like Drew?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to take a look at, we gave up a 26-point first quarter and then 3 25-point quarters. In the 26-point first quarter, we fouled a 3-point, we messed up the 2 for 1 and fouled a 3-point shooter. For 3 free throws, Luka gets 2 shooting free throws. We give up a transition basket to P.J. Washington. P.J. Washington hits an above the break 3. That's almost 70% of the points there. So that, like, the game was going the way we wanted it to go, outside of the things that we can control. And I thought our guys took the poise and remained the mindset and the toughness to understand that. And then Drew, you know, it's connected, and that's what people don't realize is, like, every guy on our team can't be at their best if this guy doesn't do that. So Jayson's facilitating, Jaylen's decision-making, that leads to Drew's playmaking. And the way that they're defending us, we have to make multiple plays, we have to have multiple drives. And I think Drew did a great job. Guys did a great job finding him. He did a great job attacking closeouts and then either kicking it back out for a second drive or getting, you know, an open shot. And then what he can do defensively, it just goes back to everybody on the team works to impact the game differently every single night.
Gary, all the way in the middle.
Joe, Gary Wash from Boston Globe. On the play that Tatum was blocked at the rim, Derek ran from the Mavericks in front of the Mavericks bench and caught Washington. I mean, that was sick. Yeah, it's uncanny.
Yeah.
I mean, we agree on that. I mean, what is it about him? He just makes an intangible plays. He hits the 27-footer to beat the shot clock. Like, it just seems like he is so reliable. I mean, can you touch on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it just comes back to he's not defined by one thing. He's not if you were to ask, like, he's just a little bit of everything. He can handle in pick and roll. He can score in pick and roll. He can stay spaced. He's not defined by scoring. He rebounds. He plays defense. He can play pick and roll ball handler, the pick and roll screener. He's had blocks on bigs. And so he's just another guy that's selfless and wants to impact the game in any way that he can. And it looks different every night. And I think the thing about him is the confidence that he has to maybe go some possessions or half, or, you know, because teams are guarding us differently, his frequency can be impacted because of that at times. But he just fights to impact the game in different ways.
John, over on the right.
Joe, John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. When a team is struggling shooting from 3, there might be a tendency to say, okay, we're just going to drive it. But you guys continued to, when you did drive it, make those right reads despite that. What kind of discipline does it take to not get into that thing of, like, forcing missed layups that you keep talking about that could trigger another team's run, and to keep kicking it out, and eventually a couple of huge threes fall down at the end?
Yeah, listen, the most important thing is getting a good shot and not turning it over. So in the first half, even though we're missing, our expected points per shot was much higher than theirs, and I liked every shot that we took, and that's the most important thing, is take what the defense gives you, whether it's a layup or there. And the second piece to that was our offensive rebounding. And so I think we had an offensive rebounding rate in the first half of like 41% and died down in the second half. But, like, when you're not shooting it well, you still want to make the right plays so that it doesn't impact the other end of the floor. But you have to have the offensive rebounding capacity to get extra possessions. And I thought we did a really good job of that in the first half and had some timely ones in the second half.
Joe, right here.
Joe Varden, The Athletic. Did Porzingis re-aggravate the calf, and what's your concern level for him for Game 3?
No, 0. He's good.
Next question, standing back left on 2. Hold on for the mic.
Joe, Kari Thompson, Boston Globe. You touched on it briefly, but the buzzer beater that Porzingis, that Pritchard hit, huge shot, his only make of the night. What makes you trust him in those moments?
He has the humility and the selflessness to not care if he misses it. He practices it and has an understanding of how a shot like that can impact the end of a quarter and can impact the run that a team makes. So that they had went on a run to end the quarter, and I thought that shot kind of gave us a little bit of poise and a little bit of momentum that we needed heading into the fourth quarter. That was big time.
Tim, last question here. We got Derek White coming in next.
You sub Peyton in right before that. Was the plan for him to run up and take that shot there?
Yeah. He takes pride in that, yes.
And you guys, you pride yourself on process a lot as a team. Obviously, in a night where you didn't hit a lot of shots, especially from deep, the offense kept moving. You kept trusting the shots, and you hit a couple late. Did you like the way you guys stuck with?
Yeah. Because you have to look at the other side of the coin. If you get away from the discipline and doing what you're doing in those situations, it's going to lead to other things. And it goes to the trust that the guys have in each other. And so, as long as you're taking great shots, you have to trust the process. On the back end of that, you got to have your offensive rebounding rate to help you. And when things aren't going that way, you have to keep them off the free throw line, which you didn't do a great job of. But we had 3 25-point quarters. So what usually happens is you have those empty possessions on the offensive end, your defense starts to wane, or you start to mistrust the discipline of your spacing and your shot selection, and you end up giving transition and getting cross-matched. And so the guys trusted and stayed disciplined, and we were able to stay out of cross-matches, and we were able to kind of, keep the game in the way we wanted to play it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Derek White will be up next. Back left, first question.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. When you were sitting at that podium last time, we were asking you about Jason Kidd's comments about Jaylen, and you said it was a smart thing for him to try to drive a wedge between you guys. Tonight, you guys came out, you combined for 19 assists, made it pretty apparent you were going to try to move the ball as much as possible. So what did you think of his attempt to try to do that, and how do you feel like you guys responded on the court?
I think we responded really well. They're not the way their defense is set up and how much they're loading up and converging at the rim. It just puts us in positions to attack and find the easy kick-out reads and just to keep the ball popping and things like that, so we can get good to great shots on each and every possession.
On your right, Jake, third row.
Jason, were those reads something that you went into tonight anticipating, a little bit premeditated, or did you get out there and see it and then make it a kind of conscious switch flip in your head that I'm going to be spraying the ball tonight?
Every time I take a couple dribbles, it's like 3 people right there. We got a bunch of shooters on our team and guys that can space the floor. They kept leaving Drew open, and so it wasn't like I had to do anything spectacular. It was just about finding an open guy.
Dave, here on the left.
Jason, Drew led you guys in scoring tonight, led you guys in rebounding tonight. You're up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. Where would you guys be as a team without him?
Good thing we don't have to find out. We're very, very fortunate to have him, and he was excellent tonight.
Nick, you're in the front.
Hey there, Jason. Nick Galley, Field Level Media. Building off of that, when you guys got Drew this offseason, I heard a lot from Milwaukee fans. The one gripe about him was the defense is always there, offense is there in the regular season, tends to fade in the playoffs. Did you guys expect to get this offensive production from him at this point in the season?
Yeah. And you guys are smart enough to know the way our team is set up. Like, we have so many talented guys on both ends of the floor that it could be a number of guys on a given night. We have a really talented team, and that's how we win games.
Standing in the back left.
Andrew Callahan, Boston Herald. Jason, how much did you feel them adjust at either end tonight from game one?
Yeah, the way they started the game, right? They were playing faster. You could tell that they wanted to shoot more threes. Neither team really shot the ball well from the three, but you could tell that was part of their plan, just to play faster and shoot more threes and crash the glass a lot more as well.
Any other questions? Chris, right over here.
How does it affect your mindset in knowing that you have all those weapons, in a game like this where you're getting blitzed, you're seeing guys come at you? Like, how does it affect you knowing that you don't have to, quote unquote, be the guy?
I mean, there's different ways, I guess, to phrase that. You know, it's not all about scoring. You know, I can beat a guy by, you know, rebounding and getting assists and drawing attention, right? You know, when I have the ball in certain spots, right, I draw so much attention. It's not always, I'm not always going to be the guy to get the shot, but, you know, sometimes sacrificing, being in those spots to make the play that we get the best shot possible, knowing that, you know, what they want to take away in their schemes and things like that. So, you know, being the guy in different ways. Maybe you don't score all the points, but you do all the things to, you know, put you guys in the best position to win.
On your right, John, fourth row.
John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. Jayson, what's the journey been like to get to this point here for you as a playmaker, right? Like a couple years ago, Ime kind of challenged you to be more of a playmaker. You accepted that. You have grown into a person now that's in the NBA Finals, and spotlight's on you. You could very easily try to score on a matchup that you can score against, but you're doing more and more of the playmaking. How have you grown as a player to get to a point on this stage that you're still willing to make what is known as the right play?
It has a lot to do with that. You know, I've been here before and we didn't win. And it's just like, you know, we're so close to what we're trying to accomplish. Why would I let my ego or feel my need to score all the points get in the way of that? You know, there are going to be times where, you know, I need to score, and obviously I need to shoot better. Golly. But, you know, really, we always talk about do whatever it takes for however long it takes. And if I need to have 16 potential assists every single night, and that's what puts us in the best position to win, and it doesn't mean I'm the leading scorer, by all means. And, you know, if that gives us the best chance to win, sign me up.
Gary in the middle.
Gary Washburn, Boston Globe. Jayson, can you take us through, okay, the dunk, I don't know if it was blocked or you kind of missed it, then the chase down from Jaylen and Derek, like what did you see? Were you in position to see that play, and how pivotal of a sequence was that?
That was a big time play for, you know, those guys to get back. I fell on the ground, so as soon as I just turned my head and looked up, I seen that they made a play at the rim. And, you know, that was big. You know, guys making winning plays at crucial times on both ends of the floor.
Last question here on the second row on the right.
Hey, Jayson, one more Drew question for you. He came in here and said you guys have been a big help, sort of helping him get acclimated here. He mentioned that there were times throughout the season where you or other teammates would come up to him and say, okay, this is what, you know, I think I could need from you. Is there a point in time or a moment that you remember with Drew that sort of, you know, everything really clicked, or was that sort of just a natural, you know, chemistry between you guys throughout the season?
I think from a team aspect, it's just it's a natural process. You know, there's a lot that goes into, you know, joining a new team from personal standpoint, and then, you know, you've been so used to a different organization. Now you come to a new team and having to learn, you know, personalities and play style and things like that. And, you know, I've had a relationship with Drew from, you know, a few years ago. We won a gold medal. So, you know, I would just, I guess, check in or, you know, always remind him, I guess, that, you know, to be yourself. And, you know, we're going to need you in big moments, obviously, like tonight. You know, not that maybe he didn't need the reminder, but, you know, just letting him know throughout the season that, you know, how much we value him and things like that.
Thank you, Jayson. Concludes the session in here for tonight. Thanks.